Today, I want to talk to you about a topic that we deal with all the time here at Legacy Physical Therapy, and that is chronic pelvic pain. This is one of the most common things that we see here at our physical therapy practice. So we wanted to shed some light on this diagnosis and give people some more information about what it is and what are some things that they can do about it. And I wanted to start out by sharing some statistics from the International Pelvic Pain Society. So if I'm looking down, it's because I want to make sure I get the statistics correct for people, because sometimes people might think that this isn't a very common thing, but in actuality, it really is. It tends to be a more common condition for females than for males, and about 25% of women who are dealing with chronic pelvic pain may spend 2 to 3 days in bed a month. So can you imagine that out of every month you have to lose 2 or 3 days to these symptoms, and just because you're dealing with pain and that it's too much to deal with? Like, how much would that be disrupting to your life? Now, more than half of women who have chronic pelvic pain must cut down on their daily activities 1 or more days a month. And these same women who are reporting dealing with chronic pelvic pain, 90% of them also report having pain with intercourse. So this is affecting all aspects of their daily life, as well as their emotional health and well-being and their relationships. So chronic pelvic pain has a significant effect on all areas of life. And so you might wonder, what is chronic pelvic pain? So first, let's start out with the difference between acute and chronic pain. So acute pain happens when the body is hurt and we get kind of an immediate response. A great example is we sprain our ankle, or we break our arm, or we kick a wall and stub our toe, and that our pain is a signal for our body to tell us that something is wrong. Okay, there's an obvious cause for the pain there, and that's an acute situation. Chronic pain is very, very different. So unfortunately, a lot of times we may not know in the terms of chronic pain what the original cause is, or that original cause may be long, long gone. And if that's the case, then it's really hard for people to kind of wrap their brain around, why am I still experiencing pain? They get caught up on what is the trigger, what's the cause, and unfortunately that may be gone. But in response to it, we've had changes in the muscles and the nerves and other tissues that are in and around the pelvic area. So up until now, I've been kind of talking about just acute versus chronic pain in general. As it relates to the pelvis, chronic pelvic pain is a big kind of umbrella term that can describe pain occurring anywhere from kind of the belly button down to the upper thighs. And so people may have pain all across this area. It may be focal just to the vagina or the vulvar area. It may spread out into the buttocks or back around to the tailbone. So chronic pelvic pain is a pretty big catch-all term for pain in a pretty significant part of our body here. So it's a bunch of things can kind of get lumped into one thing. So I don't want people to get confused that you may be experiencing pain in just one particular area of that, or it may be spreading out to other areas, because that's a common thing that happens when we're dealing with chronic pain, is that originally the pain may be just related to one focal area, but then over time, as you're dealing with the pain can kind of spread or migrate a little bit, and that's because how our body is perceiving things is changing over time. So when pain is constant and strong pain, and it occurs over a long period of time, it is emotionally, physically, and mentally exhausting. So we can see changes all across the board on different areas of health, not just strictly physical. You may make behavioral changes to what you do on a day-to-day basis to try and cope with it. Like we talked about at the beginning, that many women end up spending a couple days out of the month in bed because the pain is so severe. Or maybe you stop doing some of your favorite activities because it's just too much, it's too painful. Maybe you have to change how you're doing as far as taking care of your kids and your family because it's just too much for you to handle. And so it can have an big emotional and psychological toll on not only the person experiencing the pain, but their family members as well. So it can really have a kind of extensive effect on all sorts of people who are close to the person who is dealing with pain. And when it's continued for that long time, it's the coping mechanisms that people have to try and deal with it can really change too. And you really can have a different mindset that is maybe not as easy to cope with the longer that you're dealing with it. And that's so it affects things quite extensively, not just the physical aspect is the key thing and a lot of people get caught up on the physical side of it. And I'm here to say that we get it. There are so many more things out there that it affects, like I said, emotional relationships, behavioral changes, psychological changes. So there's so much involved when you're experiencing chronic pelvic pain. In the medical world, how is it diagnosed, or what are the symptoms of chronic pelvic pain? And so usually to be deemed chronic, it has to be pain lasting more than 6 months, okay? And usually you've probably tried some treatments and it hasn't relieved the symptoms, and or the pain may be stronger than expected for the original injury or surgery or cause of the condition that caused the pain. So what I mean by that is, it's not uncommon that if I had a surgery for a hysterectomy, that I would have some pain afterwards, but that pain should go away within the first couple of weeks and be getting less and less. So if my pain is getting much stronger and is not going away, that would be an unexpected type of pain for that particular condition. So oftentimes we start to see changes in your ability to sleep, especially in chronic pelvic pain. We also may be noticing a change in appetite, change in bowel function, maybe towards more constipation. Emotionally, we might start to see depression and anxiety, or just kind of an overall feeling of dread that can go along with it. So lots of things can change emotionally. Like I said before, people usually start to decrease their physical activity because of the pain. And again, you may even feel like you are changing in your role as caregiver or as wife or as employee, that it's affecting how you're able to do your job and to take care of your family. So many, many things contribute to it, not simply just the physical pain that you're feeling. So again, there's physical symptoms, maybe less appetite, trouble sleeping, the actual pain that you're experiencing. And there's emotional symptoms, potentially depression and anxiety. And also, like I said before, changes in behavior. So spending time in bed, missing work, no longer enjoying usual activities. So I'm here to say that with all that in mind, it's definitely not something that is all in your head. So that is one of the things that I hear from my patients way too often, is that when they are dealing with chronic symptoms, they have been written off that by many medical providers, saying like, oh, everything looks fine. It's all in your head. You just need to relax. You just need to calm down. You just need to do whatever, but they're not really getting answers to why they're feeling what they're feeling. And so I'm here, if anything, to validate that it is not all in your head. When you've been dealing with pain in a chronic situation, as you've just heard, it affects so many things, and all you want to do is find help to try and get things going in the right direction. Like I said at the beginning of this video, we here at Legacy Physical Therapy work with women and men dealing with chronic pelvic pain on a day-to-day basis. And often pelvic physical therapy is an integral part in helping you to start to feel like you can be active the way that you want to be. You can get back to some of your activities that you've been missing out on, and you can start to live your life in a more pain-free way. And so because of that, I want to make sure that we reach out to more people and try and help them, and not have people living with this condition, thinking like there's nothing else to do. Maybe they have seen multiple medical providers and they're feeling hopeless with it. And I don't want that to be the case. I want you to reach out. I want to see if we can help you move in the right direction. I don't want you feeling stuck. And that's so we are here for you, and we want to partner with you if that's something that you feel is helpful. And to that end, we created a free guide here at Legacy. I'm going to try and hold it up. Oops, there we go. So this is a free guide that we have on our website, the 11 tips for easing pelvic pain. It's got some great self-help tips and is a great place to start as far as learning more about your pelvic pain and what you can do about it to help things get in the right direction. So I will put the link for that book in the comments here after I'm done with the video, and you're welcome to download it. And it's meant to be a resource there for you as a starting point for what you can do and how we can potentially help.